What are convenient thoughts and what are workable ideas? Are they interchangeable? Can we convert one to the other? For that, we would have to see how to ask the right questions. Now, we are all encouraged to ask questions. Students are encouraged that you should ask questions. Teachers are told always to encourage students to ask questions. But where we get a little mixed up is that asking a question, raising a question, and questioning someone. These are three different things. Sometimes questioning someone is, we consider it as if we are asking a question. When you question your parents and your elders that they are from the previous generation, they don't know much about today, then you're questioning them. You are assuming that they are wrong, you know. And if the parents and the teachers think this younger generation they're of no use, they don't, their ideas are not clear, their priorities are not clear, you're questioning their capabilities. So questioning comes much later. First you should be framing the questions right. What are the questions supposed to be asked? Questioning is again a great responsibility. Otherwise, people in the presence of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, the most common question, what people ask him: Sir, can I have a selfie with you? To His Holiness the Dalai Lama, you should be asking him better things if you get an opportunity. So, framing the question right is very important. First, you should ask questions. So, uh, now I'll come to the defining the terms that I have placed on the table. Convenient thoughts and workable ideas. What are convenient thoughts? What are workable ideas? You know, um, let me take something more prominent. A convenient thought is uncharted terrain. It's a convenient thought. Who does not want to be on uncharted terrain? Why do we want to be on uncharted terrain? Is there actually something called as uncharted terrain? Is there really something? I want to be different. Everybody wants to be different. It is just a convenient thought. You are born unique. You are born unique. Each one of us is born unique. And we are wanted to be different. Different is a category lower than being unique. So why are we wanting to fall down from where we are starting? So this term uncharted terrain actually came into prominence when in the modern world new continents were being discovered, new places were being discovered, new inventions were being made. Obviously the term is a British term. Who will reach the west coast of America first? Who will reach South Africa first? Who will map the Himalayas first? Who will climb Mount Everest first? So everybody was wanting to be the first one to go on uncharted terrain. I don't think there is anything called uncharted terrain. America was not discovered by Columbus. India was not discovered by, I think, Vasco da Gama. I don't know, my GK is not that. India was already there, America was already there. So there's nothing which is actually uncharted. How it can become uncharted is that you take it and add your unique self to it. What is the unique thing that you are bringing to the table? That is what you have to add to it. Now, we all have a common dream. We all have a common dream. We have a place in mind, a dream place where we want to eventually live. We have a certain set of people in our mind with whom we want to live there. And we have a dream work in our mind that we want to do. And hardly anybody is able to achieve that. So, to think that idea that you will be able to eventually be at a place where you want to be, with the people you want to be, and doing the work that you want to be is a convenient thought. How can we convert it into doable, workable idea? How can we convert it into that? So, that is what we have to discover. Convenient thought is that my parents have sent me to a very good school, so I am going to do good in life. It is a convenient thought. How to make it workable, a workable idea. I have I am from a school and I happen to study in three different schools. One of the biggest schools of that time in Delhi, one very small school in a village in Punjab, in remote part of Punjab, where we used to sweep our classrooms also. I studied in a convent school as well, and I studied in a KV as well. I studied in different schools, and each school taught me different lessons, gave me the opportunity to discover different lessons. And I can tell, at least I can claim from my experience, that the school teaches you nothing. The school only provides you an opportunity to learn. Nobody can teach anybody anything. You have to learn. Guru Shishya Parampara. The learning is the responsibility of the student. It is not the responsibility of the teacher to teach. It is the responsibility of the student to learn. You can learn good things in this school. You can learn bad things in this school. You can build up your life in this school. You can destroy your life in this school. So it is a convenient idea that if you have come to a good school, you'll eventually do good. No, you have come to this school. It is a situation. You will have peer pressure. You will have other distractions and things that you will come across. So this is a situation, and you have to see how you can make best use of this situation to build up your lives, to build up your dream. What are the possible negatives? I speak the truth as I perceive it at any given time. And I can tell you one thing very clear. If you succeed, everybody will claim credit. Your teachers will claim credit. I will claim credit that I talked to them one day. I talked to her one day. I'll also claim credit. Your neighbors will claim credit. But if you fail, nobody will take the blame. Everybody will say, na like thi, sunti nahi thi. Nobody takes blame for your failures. So it is time that you start taking responsibility of your success. It is your choice. That is why there's a phrase in English, you are your best judge. You are your best judge. So if blame is going to be mine, the decision is also going to be mine. It is a convenient thought to say, sometimes students tell me, sir, my parents don't support me in my dream. And I say, wow, you are lucky that they don't support you. Because if they support you, then succeeding is more difficult. According to my perception, that is a bigger challenge. What you have with you is a bigger challenge. We use the terms loser and winner. A loser is, no person is completely a loser and no person is completely a winner. It is just the act, the action, the behavior at a given point of time. So I'm not classifying somebody as a loser. We all have a winner and a loser inside us. The winner inside us has very limited potential. The winner has very limited potential. A boy who is, tall by physique and strong, In his class, he beats up other boys, bullies them, and he feels like an achiever. Ah, I'm the stronger one. He does not achieve anything in his life. The boy who is getting beaten, who is getting bullied, who is getting thrashed, he goes to the Olympics. Because the loser has a greater frustration, a greater desperation, a greater determination to prove himself. So you have to find that loser inside you. He has the great potential. How do we become friends? When the loser in me gets connected with the loser in you, we become friends and we share common dreams. If I have something missing in you and you have something in missing in you, then we'll become good friends. So it is the loser part of us which connects us. So you have to see what you are thinking. It is a convenient idea that your parents support you or they don't support you. I say if they support you, it is a bigger challenge. That is your bigger challenge to succeed despite that. People sometimes tell me stories of people that about so and so. He, despite facing so many challenges, he's just succeeded in life. I said I would be surprised if he did not face any challenges and then succeeded in life. Then I would be surprised. Each of you, all of you, including us, the elder ones, we have a common dream. At the end of our life, we want to have a story to tell. हमने अपनी लाइफ में क्या किया, क्या कहानी क्या है? What is the story of our life? It's a common dream. We all have the same dream. We want that story. Is there any story without a villain? Can there be any interesting story without a villain? Can there really be any story without a challenge, without a loss? It's not possible. So decide. Sometimes youngsters tell me, son, they say, sir, I want to earn a lot of money and I want to have fun. To them, I say, son, choose one. Either you can earn money or you can have fun. You can't have both. So you can't have a story and not have any challenges. Decide whether you actually want a story or not. When I joined the National Defense Academy, I was an average student. I was not physically very strong, but I ended up playing sports at different levels, all the sports boxing, athletics, swimming, you name it, except golf. I think I played all sports. And then I joined National Defense Academy, my seniors asked me which corps of army you would want to join. I said Special Forces. So they laughed. They said 4 days of training and you will change your mind when you see the tough training. I did not. Throughout those 4 years, I was asked the question, and every time my answer was the same. Not because I'm patriotic. You know, if to do your work well, you need to be patriotic. I think that is fake. To talk nicely with you, to respect you, to care for you, I don't need to love you. That I do to everybody. If you are being kind and nice only to people you love, then that is fake. So it was not because of patriotism. It was simply that I believed in when you are given choices, choose the toughest one. If you are given choices, choose the toughest one. That is what is going to make your story. So having met with this injury, having spent 2 years in the hospital, and that has been 30 years back, 21 years, I was a running fit athletic man, and 35 years I've been in this chair. I have achieved more while I was in the chair. Climbed the highest mountain passes, flown microlight aircrafts, written books, poetry, whatever I wanted to do with my life, traveled, everything I've been able to achieve in my life. So make those tough choices. Try to see that what you are thinking, is it a convenient idea, convenient thought, or is it a workable idea? You have to see that. And once you are able to decide that, then you'll be able to make the right choices in your life and succeed. So maybe within this limited time, I have been able to provide you a line of thought, an idea that you can work on, consider. Thank you so much for providing me this opportunity.